Investigators say they're looking for in connection to Maddie Bell's disappearance. Both the man and this white car captured on security cameras Sunday morning, the morning Maddie never made it home.
I'm in total shock, yeah.
The 18-year-old's family still processing the new information. Maddie was last seen right before heading to the country corner market to go tanning. That same business catching the man and car on video.
Watch for this man, look for this car, take a good look and just do whatever you can to get her home.
And at the same time, the newest photos were released. McLean High School seniors took part in a socially distanced parade tonight, doubling as a farewell to high school and a way to honor their classmate.
For this to happen to such a sweet girl is just devastating, honestly.
Signs like "Bring our tiger home" and "Pray for Maddie" draped outside cars. As for what she'd say if she were here.
I don't think there's enough words to say that. I believe she'd be in tears just about like I am right now.
A bittersweet ending to an already abnormal final year.
Especially from a small town like this, you don't really think like something like this will happen to someone you know or someone especially you go to school with.
Many hoping the latest photographs will be the key to bringing Maddie home.
I'm praying that this is going to bring her home to us safe and soon.
Now, search crews spent most of the day today preparing for the weekend. I'm told several thousand volunteers expected to participate in the search effort. Reporting live tonight, Helena Battapaglia, WLWT News 5.
What's happening, everybody? It's good to see you. Got Susie Pops, the elephant in the room. Booze Love, what's up, girl? Fake Teddy. Tara M. How we doing? Yeah, it's probably going to be a small gathering of folks here tonight, per usual. But it's this case came across to me today. And this girl, Maddison Bell, has been missing since this past Sunday. And so I thought about it, and I thought it was necessary to talk about. It's as you can see from the news report there, that she is very, very she's very loved in her community, and the entire community is kind of in shock about the whole thing. And they seem to be very, very, very passionate about her being brought home safely. Now, the difference between this case and a lot of other ones, this isn't one of those situations where we suspect a family member or anything of that nature. So I feel kind of good about that in a sense, because I don't, I get kind of heated about stuff like that. And here we have, we actually have a picture of the guy that they want for questioning, somebody who seems suspicious, and they, now, one thing that I read regarding this case was that she had told her mom. Now, she lives with her mom and she lives with her boyfriend. Anyone else in the house, I don't know who else lives there, but I know her boyfriend lives there in the house with her and her mom. I just came across this case earlier today, and I've been at work, so I have not had a chance to go over it. But you guys know how I like to do things. I like to do this stuff like with you guys. So, what's up, Tats Marie? So I like to be able to do this stuff with you guys and discover this stuff together if I can. So one of the things, like I said, I haven't been able to really look into this. Hey, Marissa, I haven't really been able to look into this just yet, but all the information that's out there is what I have, and I'll go ahead and read you what was sent to me regarding this case. Give me 1 second here. Sorry. All right. So what it says here is Maddison left her home to go tanning at the tanning salon, and she never made it there. Now, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but her car was found in the parking lot of a church, which was nearby the tanning place that she was going to. Now, whether or not, let's assume that she did actually go tanning, right? From what I understand, the mother was very, very worried after an hour, and I thought that was kind of odd at first. I was like, why would she be worried about the fact that her daughter's not back home within an hour? And I know that tanning, because we actually have tanning beds at my job. I know that tanning beds, what they do, they're very strong, they're very powerful, and they're very fast. The maximum for a stand-up, and I think it's the law. I think the maximum for a stand-up time that we can set you up in is 9 minutes in a stand-up bed. Now, in a lay-down bed, it's 12 minutes. So thinking about that, it's not so hard to believe that her mother would be somewhat worried, at least concerned, to say the least, after her daughter, if she said she was coming right back, if she was the type of person to come right back whenever she said she was, if she was a prompt person. And I'm getting the impression that she was. And I hate speaking of her in a past tense like this. I mean, just in the sense of when I speak in a past tense of her in this instance right now, I want to be clear that it's because of what she's done in the past at home and what her habits were. So don't jump down my throat about that. I'm getting the sense that she has a history of being a prompt person because she is a very good student. She graduates this year. She supposedly had a very, very bright future ahead of her, according to what I have here. She's the cheerleading captain. Let's see. She's a cheerleading captain and she graduated high school, but has not done the walk. And a lot of people got, they got, gypped out of being able to do that walk, with the cap and gown and get your diploma and have the ceremony and everything because of all the social distancing and coronavirus stuff that's going on. Crazy times that we're living in right now. And all these things are very, very weird. But it blows my mind that these things are happening too, in a way, because when you think about things like this happening, you don't imagine the streets being too crowded, and these are, and I'm not going to say that coronavirus and the quarantines and these sort of things have anything to do with these crimes taking place, because these crimes have always taken place. But I'm wondering if somehow it's contributing it to being easier, because Maddie's car was found in a church parking lot. But the thing is there was no church. It was Sunday, but there was no church that day because of the pandemic issue. So there was no service. So I'm guessing that her car was left there, and probably in an empty parking lot for the most part. And apparently the keys were still in the ignition, and her cell phone was in the car. And that is never, ever, ever a good sign in these situations, people. We've seen this before. And yes, Booze Love, you're correct. Less witnesses for sure. And, you know, these things, you know, when the cell phone's left behind, the keys are left behind, it's never a good sign. It's never, ever a good sign. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep reading here a little bit. And so she went missing on the 17th and has not been seen or heard from since. She has been accepted into the Ohio College in the nursing program. Greenfield, Ohio is where she lives and disappeared from. 2 people witnessed a white Nissan car in the area prior to her going missing. No sign of a struggle in the car or near the car. Her life is pretty much planned out for college, and she has been dating a guy for 5 years, and this is the guy that lives with her. And, you know, that's another thing, you know, to try to get, you know, I like to try to speculate as to the type of people that we're talking about here, as much as I can, and in a positive light too, because what I'm guessing here, I'm guessing that for her mother to be okay with her boyfriend at such a young age in high school, to be living with them, for her mother to be okay with living with the 2 of them living together under her roof, that's pretty progressive. But it indicates to me as a parent, the only way that I would ever allow that to happen is if both my kid and their significant other had a good head on their shoulders. I didn't have to worry about them. I could trust them to practice birth control. They seem to have, like I said, they seem to have, or at least Maddie seems to have a future planned here. She seems to have everything mapped out for where she wants to be in the next 5 to 10 years. So to me, that speaks volumes of a responsible young woman. And so I'm thinking that her mom being okay with, I'm thinking that has a lot to do with her mom being okay with her boyfriend living in the house with them. He's probably got a good head on his shoulders too. And, you know, I'm thinking that, so to say the very least, disappearing like this is very, very odd, especially leaving her cell phone and keys behind. So I think we can rule out that this is a runaway situation. I just don't see that being the case based on the information that we have so far. So and the mom and boyfriend were home when she left the house. And yes, it says here, like, yeah, like I just said, the people in her life and town say this is way out of character for her. So this one stings a little bit, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hoping to get a backstory on the boyfriend. Wanda Strickland, let's see what this says here. You said his dad was abusive to him and threw him into a garage door at 16 years old. His parents were getting a divorce, and the dad was taking his anger out on Cody, so he moved out due to his parents' divorce. So the mom took him in. I was going to say that was going to be my second guess as to something to that nature, where she just felt like, okay, I like the kid, and he's important to my daughter, so you know we can't let this happen. We can't let him have to. If I have the means to help this boy out, then I'm going to help him out and bring him into my home. This is actually not uncommon when it comes to situations like this. When it comes to you know, kids who are best friends or couples, and one of them just happens to live in an abusive environment. So for the mom to come in and to intervene and open her home to him, like I said, I don't think that she would have agreed or convinced herself that this was going to be okay unless there was at least some level of indication of responsibility coming from the both of them. So I'm really I'm really kind of flabbergasted here. But the thing is, though, keep in mind, guys, the thing is we've got the photograph of the person wanted for questioning. And I guess he was, but from what I read in an article, he was in the tanning place. The footage was taken from the place that has the tanning beds. So I don't know. Maybe it's just someplace in the marketplace in general. Maybe. I don't know if that's a shopping center. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I'm gonna try to pull up his picture again. And this is one of those situations, man. Let me see. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. See if I could pull up a decent picture. And I'll pull up a picture of the both of them. Now, she's wearing a cap and gown in this picture, so I'm guessing it's for the sake of photographs. But it's hard to find a. I'm gonna play another news clipping. So this is the boyfriend, it looks like. I'm gonna see if we can. Yeah, we're gonna play another news clipping here.
I mean, it's so hard to even go home when knowing she's not going to be there.
Even more difficult, Cody Mann says, not knowing where his girlfriend of nearly 5 years is.
I just want her home.
Her home on Blaine Lane is the last place Cody and Maddie's mother, Melissa, saw Maddie. Sunday morning, she told them she was heading to the country corner market to go tanning.
She did not make it to tanning, did not.
Her car was found across the street, in a church parking lot.
In one of these parking spots right in here.
Maddie's mom is the one who found the car and called the sheriff's office.
The car is sitting at the church parking lot with the keys in it, unlocked, with her phone in it. She's nowhere to be found.
There's no reason so far that we found.
Let's talk about that for a second. So what I'm getting the indication of right here, guys, is that the mom, after growing kind of concerned, she left her phone in the car, so she's not answering the phone. And so what does the mom do? Is she gets in her car and goes to see what's taken her so long. And I'm not getting the helicopter mom vibe off her. I'm getting the, I know my daughter and this is suspicious. So it's just pure mother's intuition stepping in here. And I know there's a lot of moms in here that could probably relate to that, because I know my mom had it. I'll tell you that right now. My mom had that mother's intuition. So I'm guessing that, she seems, progressive enough to where she's allowing the boyfriend to live in her house with her daughter. And to me, that kind of indicates that it's not so much a yes, Tracy L. This is the girl in Ohio. And welcome. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. uh, yeah, I'm not getting that helicopter mom overprotective vibe from her. I'm getting the, I'm getting the wait a minute, something's wrong here vibe that took place. So let's see what else. Let's see the rest of this little clip here. This is the sheriff here.
Why she would pull into that parking lot.
Maddie's car is now in the
I was also thinking the same thing. Why would she pull into the parking lot? Now if there's a guy that is wanted for questioning that they have video footage of, they caught this guy on camera and they went and and his car being suspicious as well, and they have the car or at least a solid description of his car. So there's a number of scenarios that could have taken place. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe I mean, the guy could have just given her some bullshit story and somehow asked her for some sort of assistance in some way. I don't know. Anybody who's familiar with Ted Bundy would operate in this manner. He wore a fake cast and he would ask women to help him with his car and play the wounded fawn. And this is yeah, right, exactly, Marissa. I'm thinking that's something along those lines. I mean, anything could have happened. I mean, for all we know, man, maybe she told her mom she was going to go tanning, but and she probably was, but maybe she was going to go buy a little weed from somebody or something. She's a teenager. Who knows? I'm not saying that's even remotely the case. I'm saying we have no idea as to why her car was in that church parking lot. That's very odd to me.
Possession. He says investigators found no obvious signs of foul play. But Sheriff Donnie Barrera says this car may be connected to Maddie's disappearance. Security cameras from the corner market captured it leaving the church lot Sunday morning, heading in the direction of Leesburg. Also, a church employee saw it in the lot that morning.
The lady that seen the license tag that came in, I believe is a treasurer, and just happened to see a car and California tag stuck out in her head.
Tonight, as the investigation continues, so does the search for Maddie or clothing she may have been wearing. A black North Face jacket, and possibly this Destin shirt.
My mind is just driven. I mean, I'm in one direction and I am driven to find her.
And the sheriff tells me his office is receiving hundreds of tips. He says they receive tips now from 11 different states. Now, he would not go into detail, but says with the technology the FBI has, he hopes to have more information to share with the public in the coming days. Reporting live tonight in Highland County, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
Karen. Yeah, so I mean, she just up and disappeared. Now the person that they want for questioning, now let's hope, because think about it, guys. Let's right now she's been missing since Sunday. That's bad because now technically it's Friday, 1 a.m. where I'm at. And I believe Ohio is on Eastern time too. So since Sunday she's been missing, and that's a scary thing. But if we're one thing that we got to keep in mind though is her mom had this intuition real fast, and she acted real fast because the moment that she saw her daughter's car in the parking lot, because it just said that the car was discovered by Melissa, her mom. So seeing the car, discovering her car in the parking lot, seeing her cell phone and seeing the keys in there, she immediately does what? She calls the police and she reports her daughter missing. That's obviously an emergency. That's very, very suspicious. And you know, what teenager leaves their phone behind? You know what I'm saying? I mean, most teenagers, considering what social media is like and everything like that, they're glued to their phones. Hell, I got my phone on me at all times. But I work with kids in their 20s. A couple of them 18 or 19, and their phones are just glued to them always, all times. So I'm thinking that it's pretty much standard, Tracy L, that that teenagers just always have their phones on them. So it's definitely suspicious when we're talking about Suzanne Morphew. When it comes to her case, I'm still not finding her leaving her cell phone behind that suspicious. I'm finding it a little bit more suspicious only because excuse me, only because they're searching the house and Barry's lawyered up. And I'm going to get into that stuff a little bit more too in a little bit once we move on from Maddison Bell for the night, because I'm going to keep talking about this and I'm going to keep bringing updates. But hopefully, like I said, there's fortunately Melissa discovered the car seems to be early enough. And once the car was discovered, she calls the police. So they're on the case pretty fast, searching for her. And they got footage of somebody that they want for questioning on video. And I was trying to find a picture, guys, but I can't pull one up that's clear enough for me to share on here. Like I'd have to take a screenshot of one with my phone, email it to myself, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going through all that right now. But if you look into this case and you look there's lots of news stories about it. It's a big deal right now. It's definitely national news, and the entire community is very, very passionate about locating this girl and bringing her home safely. She's beautiful. She's got a bright future ahead of her. And hopefully we're just dealing with the situation where she's safe and okay. And she's going to be brought home safely. But like I said, anything that I hear moving forward on this case, I'm going to talk about here and share with you guys. Let's see here. And I had something else pulled up, but I lost it. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah. Okay, so I'm going to show some video here. We're moving on to the Suzanne Morphew case. There's been some video footage. I don't know how many of you guys are subscribed to Duty Ron, but Duty Ron's been talking about this case. And I got to tell you, you guys know me. I can be real critical of creators, but when I really love a creator, man, I praise them. And I got nothing but all the respect for Duty Ron. He's doing this case really, really responsibly and very, very and the reason why I love that and I take some peace with the way that he handles these cases is, he's a retired detective for the NYPD. So you can imagine an entire career that this man has dealt with people. And in his life, he said something that, I'm not going to accept that from just the average true crime online sleuth. You know what I'm saying? The only people I want to hear this from are cops. And what better than an NYPD retired detective? And he's and he did say, he's like, he was real careful the way he worded it, but he was like, the husband, I hope that's not the case. I hope they still bring Suzanne home, and I hope, but he's like, and I don't have any theories or anything, but having that gut feeling, that gut feeling that cops get, he says, I feel like he's dirty. And I'll take that. You know what I mean? I'll take that. I'll take that. Usually I'm quick to be like, man, but when an experienced detective from the NYPD, who's now retired, tells you that, if he says he's got a gut feeling, and that means something, then I'm going to take his word for it. I'd be a fool not to. I'd be ignorant not to. So, to me, that's just as credible as a mother's intuition. A cop's gut feeling is just as credible to me as a woman, a woman's intuition when she's a mother. So, yeah. And he did show, I don't know if you guys were in his live earlier, anybody was in his live, but he did show footage of the property that Suzanne and Barry live on, and here in Colorado, and it's gorgeous. But the thing is, guys, and the cool thing about it is it doesn't have any sound, so I can kind of talk over it, and we can just kind of look at it together and get an idea what's happening. So go ahead and share the screen. And I'm not even going to share the audio so that it's like absolutely silent. And yes, Tracy L, they are well off. That is for sure. And I'm wondering if Barry is involved in some way, which I'm really hoping that he's not. If he is involved in some way, I'm wondering if how much money they have has anything to do with it. I'm wondering if she is worth a certain amount in life insurance. I mean, this is a very common motive that takes place in cases like this, when the significant other is a suspect. But nobody has said officially that he is a suspect yet. They are merely searching the house, as far as we know, for evidence. Not necessarily for her whereabouts, but I'm sure they are doing that too, because the idea here is to locate Suzanne. So all right, so as you guys are seeing this, I mean, look at the size of that house. I mean, that is... Now, also, there's been, I've heard, see, here's the thing, guys. What I find fascinating about this case, I find this case fascinating in the sense, as far as the people involved, these are well-off people. They probably have friends who are well-off, and there's a certain behavior that takes place, and they're probably very private people. And when they do social media now, it was very easy to find their profiles on Facebook. I looked and I found their profiles on Facebook, and their profiles on Facebook, they're pretty much set private for the most part. All you could see is like the profile pictures that they updated, and their profile pictures that they updated, as well as their like cover photos, and you know, they definitely maintain that image of being very upper class, very happy, comfortable people, always smiling. Every picture is a pose of this is who we are. Very, you know, white picket fence cookie cutter types. And it's for the purpose of appearances. So, you know, a lot of people are going crazy trying to find any type of evidence, trying to find any type of evidence about their personal life. I've only heard rumors, and I think that's all anybody's ever getting right now is rumors, because these are probably very, very private people. What goes on behind those closed doors, it would mortify the both of them to have that stuff come out. So, you know, some might say, oh, well, you know, Chris Watts and Shanann Watts, they're from the same area. They had a really nice house. But the thing is, you know, in comparison to these folks from the, and this is just the indication I'm getting right now, but in you know, in comparison to these folks right here, Shanann and Chris were, if they were on the Titanic, they'd be treated like Kathy Bates was by all the other Richies that were on there. Is, you know, they they would treat her like new money. They would treat Shanann like new money. They would have treated Chris Watts like new money. I mean, Chris Watts, yeah, he made good money because he worked for an oil company, but he was a roughneck, man. He was a roughneck that worked out in the field, right? So, you know, Shanann had to have a really nice big house, and so he got her a nice big house, but they were living beyond their means. That is no secret, folks. Everybody here that's followed the Chris Watts and Shanann Watts case, we know that they were living beyond their means. Even Nicole Kessinger said it in her police interview that that was the first thing that they noticed. Like, there's, you know, I work with this guy. How are they affording this? So, you know, this is different. This is a little different. Considering I'm guessing that they at least, even if this lifestyle to them was just an image, they were much better at presenting that image than Chris and Shanann were, is my point. They were very, you know, these, you know, I have my friends on Facebook. You know, I have my friends on Facebook who did real well after high school, and they don't post anything inappropriate. All of their humor is just dad jokes and stuff like this. And if you hang out with them face to face, they're telling you the filthiest things you'll ever hear in your life. But their Facebook profiles are completely and totally just designed to present them in a certain light, and I'm getting that vibe from Barry and Suzanne here. So especially when I look at their Facebooks now, granted, I didn't get to see their Facebooks because you know, they have some privacy settings on there, so you can only see so much. I don't know what their posts are, but you know, I'm in Tracy L. I'm not saying that they're fake. What I'm saying is, you're not going to get much from their Facebook. You're not going to get much from their social media. This is not like Chris Watts and Shanann, where Shanann would air her dirty laundry with Cindy all over Facebook, and she was always posting videos of herself, and you know, and you have Letitia Stock, who is, you know, we know as much as we know about Letitia because she won't shut the hell up. She's all over social media. She's blasting herself all over social media, right? Because she's so concerned about how she looks, not realizing that being so concerned about how she looks is making her look really, really bad. So it's interesting to me. It's very, very interesting to me. So, you know, one rumor that I'm hearing about the two of them is that they had an open marriage. Now, that's a rumor. The truth to that could be that that's completely, totally false. But the truth to that could also be that they had a particular arrangement and an understanding between the two of them. This is not uncommon. It's definitely not as uncommon as many of you out here think. So this is a very, very, like I said, it's not uncommon for a couple to have certain stipulations as far as their sex life goes. And it happens very commonly with upper class people. You have couples who are swingers. You have couples who are polyamorous. And polyamorous basically means that they don't believe that that it's natural to be in love with only one person for the rest of your life. You can have separate relationships with separate people. And they probably had some sort of arrangement given that nature, as far as that nature goes. Or it could be that they were swingers, where they just like to do everything together and they like to hang around like-minded couples who felt the same way. Again, this is not uncommon amongst people that age and amongst people in living that sort of cookie cutter lifestyle. They want to break away from that. They want to have that image, but that's just not them. And sometimes it drives them crazy, and they feel more evolved than most people. And then they host parties, and then they attend parties, and it's a very, very common practice. And that's another thing, is they feel, a lot of times they engage in these sort of arrangements because they're just bored. Sometimes, most of the time, these things work out to where it's where two people are completely honest with each other, and they say, you know what, I love you and I'm always going to be attracted to you, but it's silly to think that we're not going to be attracted to other people. And I want you to be happy, and I know you want me to be happy. So this happens a lot. So I don't know if any of this is actually true. But if it is, I'm definitely not about to judge them for it. Not even in the slightest bit. Because I know people who engage in this lifestyle, in different variations of this lifestyle. And you would never know it unless they told you. Right. So, and they seem like very private people. They're not going to put out their deepest, darkest secrets all over their social media. They're just not that type. I think that they're very concerned with what their image is. When you purchase a home and live in a home like this is part of your image that you're trying to project and maintain. So, it's any of these things could be a possibility. But if that's the case, if they had some sort of arrangement in their marriage regarding their sex life, I'm not ready to even begin to assume that has anything to do with what's going on with Suzanne missing. I'm not even close to that. The reason why I'm bringing it up now is because I know there's a lot of people out there that are hearing this rumor, and then they're allowing that rumor to be the basis of a hell of a lot of speculation. And I think that's irresponsible to speculate off of that necessarily, especially if you don't know anything about that lifestyle. If you don't know anybody who lives that lifestyle, you're sure not the right person to judge it. And you're sure not the right person to start building off of something that you don't know anything about. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So I would urge you that if you're hearing this rumor, which all it is at this point, as far as I know, is simply just a rumor. If you are hearing this rumor, I would advise you to not speculate off of that. Especially off of any rumor, really. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna speculate. We're gonna try to figure out where Suzanne might be, what happened to her. But there's, you know, and I keep hearing back and forth, you know, whether she went on the bike ride or she didn't go on the bike ride. I you know, so yeah, it's funny to me that hold on one second. Sorry, I had to take a little trash out. Yeah, it's funny to me that we're real quick to jump to conclusions or base speculation on information that we don't even have. So I think that's going to be the most frustrating thing for a lot of people when it comes to this case, is the lack of information that we have to go on. We don't know anything about these people. We really don't know anything about these people right now. So there's not a lot to responsibly speculate on. And I'm trying to find out. You know, I've got people digging who aren't used to digging. It's kind of a mess. But and I'm not good at. I'm definitely not much of a sleuth myself. When I have the information, I can talk about it, but I'm not good at gathering that information. I'm good at sorting the information once it's there and look at something and be like, that's just hearsay. That's just a rumor. That's not, you know, I want facts. And the thing is, with this case, there's not a lot of facts out there. There's just a whole lot of rumors. So it's a difficult one, guys. It's definitely a difficult one. Oh, it's okay, Caleb. I got him.
TD survey of nearly 2,700 people reveals one of the things residents are
sorry about that. So, so far we don't have anything new regarding the Suzanne Morphew case, and we have all the information we're going to get on Maddison Bell, at least for now, is what I'm saying. But I'm going to definitely stay on top of that, and I'm going to I'm going to bring any attention, anything that I get as far as the Suzanne Morphew case, and we're going to talk about that stuff. But I'm definitely doing everything I can, as much as anybody else, as far as trying to get information on these people. And it's a hard thing to do. And like I was saying, my guess is, you know, the go-to on these things, when you have these online sleuths, these true crime creators and admins and starters of the true crime groups, well, their go-to is the people involved, their social media. But I'm the impression I'm getting from Barry and Suzanne is you're not going to get a lot from their social media. You're going to get people that they know, maybe, but you're not going to get it unless somehow or another you're friends with them on social media. You know, so right now, and to me, honestly, overall, that's a good thing. I'm happy about that, because that's going to allow law enforcement to do their job more efficiently. So, like I said, you know, when I hear another true crime channel go, the husband, look at his face. I don't like his face, blah, 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 blah. And then they just start going off of stuff like that, or they start judging them, oh, well, they had an open marriage and, he probably fell in love with somebody else and planned something and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like that stuff, that's irresponsible, but when a retired New York detective says, I got a gut feeling, that's enough for me to say, okay, I've got my eye open on this guy. Between him lawyering up and between the house being searched thoroughly, which that's what they're doing. I'm sure they're taking forensic. They're doing everything. I mean, they are doing everything. No, Tracy L, this is not a Van Halen shirt. This is better than a Van Halen shirt. Van Halen didn't, their music didn't align the planets and inspire peace among the universe, the entire universe. But Wild Stallions does. They haven't done it yet, but they will. But yeah, it's the same Van Halen font though. It's a little clever. It's that's what they did when they made the shirt. It's like an independently made shirt. I got it off some guy who makes t-shirts and he's trying to make a living, and I like to support things like that. And I thought it was a really creative, cool shirt, so I got one. Actually, somebody got it for me. But the guy was really cool. I had to deal with the guy because I got the wrong size. So I had to find the guy's information, and then I ended up calling the guy directly, and he exchanged the shirt, no charge. It was great. Really cool guy. Let's see what we said. Rosalind saying, if they are into an alternative lifestyle, it would be more difficult to find any of their information. The lifestyle leads one to be even more aware of social media things that might start rumor. That's absolutely 150% accurate, Rosalind. Very well put. I appreciate you making that comment because that's something we have to keep in mind. These are very, very, like I said, it's strange because the majority of people who engage in this lifestyle are usually very well-to-do folks, and they got everything together. They're if you're going to be in a relationship and do it successfully, living that lifestyle, you have to be of sound mind. You have to be completely, totally secure with yourself, secure with your partner, but most importantly, secure in your relationship with your partner, and your partner has to be secure in your relationship with you as well. And that's the only way that lifestyle ever works for people. So, that being said, they are also very wary of other people that do not have the same mindset that they do. They don't want to be messing around with other couples who, or other people who feel the need to lie and are shady, and are basically too immature to handle the responsibility of a lifestyle like that, of a very not so traditional lifestyle like that, alternative, as Rosalind put it. So definitely an alternative lifestyle, but it takes a certain mind to be able to do that. But most importantly, it takes a certain mind between two people. So not only do you have to have this very strong and very mature mindset, but you have to be in a relationship that you're secure in with another person with the same mindset. That is not an easy thing to do. That is not an easy thing to find in somebody. And you're married to this person. Now, again, this is just a rumor, so I'm not saying, but I'm speculating in the sense that if they are involved in this lifestyle and engaged in this lifestyle, you know, they're 26 years strong, man. You know what I'm saying? A 26-year marriage, for all we know, that's the cornerstone of their relationship. And for a lot of couples, it is. Without that lifestyle, their marriage would fall apart. For a lot of people, it's like that. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind. So it doesn't make them more messed up. If anything, there's a very, very, very strong likelihood, not just possibility, but likelihood that they had a very, very strong and fruitful marriage. So yeah, Tracy L, I'm telling you, 26 years, dude, man. Right, Rosalind, I completely agree with you. Yeah, the more individuals involved, the more maturity required. Absolutely. So it's not an indication to me that something went wrong in that aspect. Quite the opposite, actually. Quite the opposite. So before, if you don't know anything about that lifestyle at all and the different branches that there are to it, you know, it's not responsible to speculate off of that. So just a fair warning to you if you're planning on doing that. Just a word to the wise. That's all. I don't recommend it if you don't know anything about it. Mega Triumph. Okay. You're saying a 29-year-old mistress. See, I haven't heard anything about that. And chances are, if there is a 29-year-old mistress and they were living that lifestyle, then Suzanne knew about it. Because the thing is in a lifestyle like that, everything's about your partner. You know, everything is about their happiness. You're not happy unless they're happy. So if you're going behind your partner's back, the whole thing it defeats the entire purpose. The entire engagement of that lifestyle has been shattered. The trust is gone, and the trust is the cornerstone of that lifestyle. If you don't have trust with your partner, it's going to fail. It's just not going to work. So, and you know, and see, I see this stuff right here. You see Mega Triumph drops this comment right here. And then I got Norma Thomas right underneath saying, "Oh no, he has a mistress." See, that's how rumors spread. I need to see evidence that there is a mistress, you know, and I guarantee you any evidence about this mistress is not found on social media. I promise you that. So I can't even imagine unless somebody came forward and got this information from a detective who leaked the information, which I seriously doubt, because if we're looking at the history of Colorado law enforcement, now these are different counties, but whenever CBI is involved and FBI is involved, man, that is not leaking. That is airtight. You're not getting any information. So I don't want to hear. That's my point. Is this case is going to be a big disappointment to a lot of people moving forward, because you're not going to get any real information. These I guarantee you are very, very private people. And again, if they're living that lifestyle, they're even more private than the average person out there. Let's see, monogamous people who have been divorced twice, each looking down upon those married once in a 30-year marriage going strong. Right. Exactly. That's I guarantee you that the true crime groups right now that are dedicated to this case are flying with all kinds of judgment from people who can't even maintain a marriage, or single people who can't even imagine even thinking about engaging in an arrangement like that with a significant other. So, uh, guys, just, I mean, all I'm trying to do right now is just prepare you for the likelihood that it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get any real reliable information unless somebody comes forward and says something, unless for some reason one of the daughters decides to talk. And I bet you they know very little about their parents' personal life. What kid wants to know about that? So, I mean, otherwise, even if somebody comes forward and says, oh, well, I was this guy's mistress, right? If that person comes forward, unless they have proof of it, and goes to the press. But that happened with what? Scott Peterson. That was the last time that happened. The mistress came forward, right? and was like, hey, press conference. I've been seeing him on the side. That blew everybody's mind that even happened. So, I don't know, man. We're going to keep on. It's going to keep happening. And we're going to hear one rumor, but I promise you, everything that you hear is probably going to be just that, a rumor. So, it's going to be, it's going to be frustrating, man, following this case. It's going to be frustrating because I know CBI, the FBI, they're not going to leak anything. They're not going to leak anything. They don't do that. We sat here, dude. We sat here. Well, not here. I didn't have a channel back then, but we sat on social media for months, literally months, waiting for a development in the Chris Watts case. And the Chris Watts case kept us entertained because there was all kinds of video footage to analyze and speculate on that Shanann had shot and put out. All kinds of stuff that was just out there on social media for all of us to just examine, right? So that kept us entertained. But if you think about it, all we had on that case for months was that and that really, really lame, tiny, poorly, lazily written arrest affidavit for Chris Watts. That's all we had for months until he pled guilty. And when he pled guilty, everybody was like, oh my God, because everybody thought there was going to be a trial, right? Now, in this case, if Barry had anything to do with this, which I'm hoping he didn't. For the sake of his daughters, I'm hoping that he didn't. I'm hoping that somebody has her and they're holding her for ransom or something, and she's going to be returned safely, and it's just simply in their mind a business transaction. That's the best possible scenario that I can hope for. But if he did do this, right? If Barry had something to do with her disappearance, and the thing is he's lawyered up, and considering the image that they have is the image of people who are very financially well off. I'm guessing his lawyer's a good one, and there is a chance that this would go to trial if this is the case, because his lawyer is probably an expensive one, and his lawyer is probably saying, is probably there. His entire existence in this scenario is to get him off of the and make sure he doesn't do any prison time. That's usually the case when it comes to people who are well off and have a lot of money. So hopefully Barry didn't have anything to do with this. Let's see. Military hippie. What about these Facebook groups? There's speculation that's why they are created, and God forbid if you go against what they. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I mean, here's the thing. I don't belong to any true crime Facebook groups for this reason. You know, like to me, it's silly. I'm going to be honest with you guys. All right, we're gonna get a little off subject. We're going to take a little break from Suzanne and Maddie, and I'm going to address this issue, right? So I hear that complaint all the time about true crime groups. You know, you can't express your opinion, and if your opinion differs from the admin or the person who started the group or whatever, you know, then you know, blah blah blah. And you know what? My solution to that is just don't join the group. Because that's like that in every true crime group you join. They all start off saying the same thing. Everybody, you can say whatever you want here. Just please be respectful. And you can do whatever you want here. You know, we don't believe in censorship, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, somebody's going to get a power trip. Somebody always does in these true crime groups. Somebody, an admin, the person who started, whoever. Somebody always gets a power trip. Right. And then a discussion is no longer productive, you know, but this is a consistent thing. So, you know, in my opinion, why complain about it? It's not going to change. Just don't join true crime groups or start your own true crime group. Right. Start your own true crime group on a particular case and set the rules yourself. And let's see if you can live up to your own standards, you know, because everybody thinks that they can. Everybody thinks that they can until they don't. Up until somebody, you know, gets into something with you and then you just play your admin card and you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, you know, the admin's God, you know, it just is what it is. It's its own little world. And then the admins are like these senators in robes on these high seats all over, you know, overlooking everybody. And it's just such a crock of shit. So I don't get into that, man. You know what groups I belong to, man? I belong to a Seinfeld group, and I have the most fun ever. Nobody does that shit. Nobody does any of that. You know, I'm not joining or starting a true crime group, man. I'm just not, you know. And it's a great way to build subscribers too for the channel, but I'm just not doing that, man. I can't deal with that because the people, man, they get so crazy. And they get so passionate, and they get so passionate about people they don't even know. You know, and dude, the Chris Watts thing went crazy, man. People went crazy in those Facebook groups. They went insane. Like people started stalking each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that is out of control, dude. You cannot, you know, that's why I said, you know, I would say, you know, this isn't a true crime channel. I mean, it really isn't. You know, I talk about true crime on here. I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything you're not hearing from the other true crime channels. You know what I'm saying? It's just something to talk about because I follow these cases. You know, and then whatever. If I'm covering true crime, you can call it a true crime channel if you want. Just, you know, call it a shitty one because that's what it is. It's not a good true crime channel. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I like I said, I'm just talking about this stuff. But the thing is I can't stand. I get so scared. I don't want this to become the main theme of this channel, because people get crazy, dude. People get so crazy with each other, man, and it blows my mind. And what I find most fascinating most of the time is how the people behave. You know. Thanks, elephant in the room. That's perfect. That's exactly what I pretty much try to be. I like to observe behavior, and what better than to talk about true crime cases? But to me, what's more fascinating is the hype behind the true crime cases, the way that the true crime creators and the true crime followers behave. And and people don't like that, but I mean, don't listen to it. Thanks, Rosemary. Yeah, the theories go wild, Booze Love. The theories go, man, and I get frustrated. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I get super frustrated when I'm in these true crime groups, and then I I'm just that guy. Look, I'm that guy. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, but I am that first guy when somebody drops a completely and totally asinine bullshit theory. I go, man, you're a fucking idiot. I will be so quick to destroy that person, their theory, and I don't mind making them feel this big when I do it, because like I said, they tend to forget that there's real people involved. And 90% of the time, whenever I get like that and I go off on somebody in one of these groups, the reason why I do is because they're talking about people whose lives are genuinely affected by this thing. But what they're doing is they make, without even thinking, they're implying accusations on other victims. You know what I'm saying? Just because they think that they're coming up with this, the thing that nobody thought about, if the police would just think about this, like professional law enforcement detectives haven't thought about the things that make the most sense because they're not trained to do that. And you, jackass, wearing a muumuu and eating Jello all day, you think you know everything, and you're that person in some movie, in some conspiracy theory movie, that has the answer and nobody's listening to you. No, bro, nobody's listening to you because you're a jackass and you're not making any sense whatsoever. Nobody cares what you have to say because you run your mouth and have nothing but incoherent nonsense come out of it through your fingers onto a Facebook group thread. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I watch this and I can't help it. I have to say something when I see it. And I get a little annoyed to where either, okay, I make it a point to try to not be directly insulting, name calling, that sort of thing. I try to do that. It doesn't always happen, but I try not to do it, right? But then what happens is I'll make my point and I'll do it in a very nice way, but people see through that. They could tell that I'm trying hard they know me, and they know I'm trying hard not to be name calling and trying hard not to be mean. So when I'm being overly nice, they get super insulted because they're saying that I'm patronizing them, and I'm being, are you ready for it? Snarky. That's the word. They love to call me snarky. I get that all the time. Some Karen in these threads always goes, I don't appreciate, I was just expressing my opinion, and I was just talking, is this not a discussion group? Is this not a discussion group? I was just expressing my opinion, and then you had to come in and then you got all snarky with your little snarky remarks, your snarky attitude, Will. And so I end up I always end up either getting booted or I end up leaving the group, because here's here's another important fact that I don't want to overlook. I don't want to overlook this one fact. Usually I'm one of very, very few men in these groups, right? I'm one of very few men among like 70% of them being Karens and then the other 30% being fucking admins. I don't stand a chance. I'm going to say something that's going to make somebody mad, and then they're going to swarm on me. And they always swarm on me. They always go, and I'm the bully. I'm the bully when I've got 20 angry Karens throwing insults at me and telling me. I had somebody tell me I should be ashamed of myself. Somebody left a comment on last night's live, right? Somebody left a comment on last night's live telling me I should be ashamed of myself because of the way that I talked about Nancy Grace, because Nancy Grace had this and that happen to her, and I don't know her backstory. But you know what, man? We've all had bad things happen to us. It's a horrible, horrible thing when it does happen. But that doesn't give you, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't give you a free pass to be this person who creates these hateful narratives and does it just for ratings, you know? And that's not, and that's what Nancy Grace is to me. Nancy Grace is nothing but an opportunist. You know, she's from what I understand, I don't know a lot about Nancy Grace, but Nancy Grace, I think, was I think Nancy, well, dude, Caleb, that's why you're my homie, dude. Like, you get it, dude. You get it. I like, we're here, buddy. We're here. But Nancy Grace, if I'm correct, I don't know. I know a lot of you would know better than I would, but I think she's an attorney, right? She's a retired attorney, or, you know, something to that effect. But somehow she's an attorney, right? Somebody in the chat want to confirm that for me? Okay. Tracy L saying that, yes, that she is an attorney. Okay. So as an attorney, right? This is why I don't mind shitting all over Nancy Grace, because she's an attorney and I hold her to a higher standard than somebody who's going to irresponsibly create a narrative about somebody being guilty before having any information on them. And that's what she did with Barry. You know, she totally did that. Why am I sitting up here doing this? A guy who dropped out of school in the 9th grade and then got a GED. Why is that guy standing up here and trying to portray somebody who could very well be a grieving husband who has the responsibility now of comforting his 2 daughters through this? You know, why am I the one who's going to be the responsible one to say, hey, that's probably not the way to go? Why is an attorney doing the opposite of that? So, like I said in my response to that comment, fuck Nancy Grace. Yo, Nancy Grace can kiss my dapper, dashing Dominican dark dick. Fuck Nancy Grace. I don't give a shit about that lady. So, period. Case closed. I don't feel bad about that at all. Not even a little bit, dude. You know, you have a responsibility. You know, you turn these channels. That's the problem. And that's you know, that's part of the problem, is you turn these channels into tabloid channels. These become tabloid stories and not, you know, real cases. I mean, these are people that are genuinely affected. Now their lives are turned upside down, and then you're going to stand up there and then have some stranger comment on my chat telling me to feel sorry for you. No, dude. No. No, I can't stand Nancy Grace, and I can't stand her type. I can't stand HLN. I can't stand that half-ass version of her that was on HLN during the Chris Watts thing. What was her name? What was her fucking name? That lady. Somebody help me out with her. The HLN lady that had the Trent guy on there interviewing the Trent guy like he had anything even remotely productive to offer, instead of just spreading stupid rumors. Like, does anybody? Oh, wait. No. I'm still not. Nobody's telling me this lady's name, dude. And it was funny because I couldn't stop hearing her name, man. You know how hard it was to be an admin in a Chris Watts Facebook group? You know how hard it was? No, not Jane Velez Mitchell, not her. Not Robin Meade either. You know how hard it was? Because somebody would like post something from HLN and then I'd have to get up there and be like, that's tabloid crap. That is not a reliable news source. Somebody would be like, oh, here's this article from People. I'm like, dude, you might as well post an article from the Inquirer. It's the same thing to me. Hollandaise. Yeah. Holland. Yeah. Whatever her name is. Yeah, she's another shitbag. Like, I don't, yeah. See, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, Nancy Grace is doing fine, regardless of the tragedies that she's endured in her life. And, you know, the thing is we all suffer from tragedy. It's part of life. So you're not going to get me to feel sorry for this person who's got more money than God, and she's made it by trashing people before it's even appropriate to do it. You know, like, you already know how I feel about that shit. So, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go, oh, Nancy Grace lost somebody? That changes everything. No, man. Nancy Grace is an asshole, in my opinion. Give a shit about none of that. Yeah, man. Like, whatever happened to reporting the news, man? Whatever happened to reporting the news? Why do you have to shift people's opinion with yours? You know, and that's the thing, is I don't even blame them. I don't even really blame them that much. I mean, they're responsible for what they're doing. They're accountable for what they're doing. Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is that the people, they drink it up. You know, they wouldn't make a living doing it if it didn't sell. So it's the people that contribute to it, you know? I mean, I'm not interested in subscribers like that, man. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in subscribers like that, man. So, you know, I mean, maybe I'm just dumb that way, dude. I cannot in good conscience build this channel on just giving what I know would attract people. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't, it would feel like work to me. Having to be fake like that would feel like work to me, you know? So I can't help but think that people who do this, that's really where they're coming from. You know, they're just assholes who don't give a shit. So I'm not right. Exactly, Caleb. Right. Yeah. I mean, out of the two of us, between me and Nancy Grace, out of the two of us, take a wild guess which one actually took an oath to uphold the Constitution. I never have. To actually, practice the whole innocent until proven guilty concept. I mean, to apply that. I never did that. I never took an oath to do that. You know what I'm saying? So which one of us is the asshole? Now, okay, fair enough. I'm an asshole. That's fair. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to deny that. But the asshole in the sense of in which I'm referring to, I'm at least up here. I'm at least an honest asshole. At least I'm honest. At least I want my channel to build based on people knowing that they're going to get an honest opinion out of me, and I'm not just going to spew out what I think is going to get people to get excited and spread the word about me and start dropping a bunch of super chats. It's just not in my nature to do that. I would not like doing this. I would quit doing it if I ended up going that route. I'd do it for about a month and then I'd get sick and tired of it. I would not give a shit how much money was rolling in. And I could do it, but I don't. I mean, that's easy, dude. That's the shortcut, man. That's how did Colton Harris Moore put it, man? I love the way he put it. He's a low-hanging fruit. That's the term that he used. That's low-hanging fruit. I don't want to make a name for myself doing that, reaching for low-hanging fruit. I want people to know that they're gonna to know that they're going to get honesty out of me, and I want them to enjoy hearing the honesty come from me. So I can't. I don't abide by that shit, man. I don't like people like Nancy Grace. I just don't. I don't respect it. So fuck Nancy Grace. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys all logging on. I'm going to be, again, guys, I'm going to be talking about Maddison Bell as much as I can. Any new updates come with that, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about Suzanne Morphew as well, as much as I can, but every other creator's talking about that case too. So, I doubt I'm going to be able to give you any new information that they haven't already been giving you, especially with my late hours. I'm not going to be the first to give it to you. It's nothing like that. But if you want to hear my point of view on these things, then, sure, log on, man. And I'm happy to have you here. But yeah, I just, I really appreciate you guys, joining the chat and contributing to the conversation and everything. And yeah, guys, I'm really grateful for that. And I know I'm a little rough around the edges, guys. I just get a little passionate about how I feel about things sometimes. But anyways, guys, I love you, and we will be doing this again very soon.